My date last night ended before it even started. We walked out of the restaurant, and before getting into my car, she asked, "Is this a rental? Because if it is, I'm not wasting my time." I didn't get angry or defend myself. I just looked at her, smiled, said goodbye, and drove off alone, leaving her standing on the curb. It was a simple, quiet decision. The next morning, my phone had blown up. The screen showed 21 missed calls, all from her number, starting around midnight and getting more frequent toward dawn. There were texts, too. The first few were arrogant, demanding to know what my problem was. Then they turned confused, asking if I was okay. The last dozen were pure panic, a stream of apologies and pleas, messages begging for another chance. I read them all without feeling much of anything except tired. I made coffee and started my day. Her name is Jenna. We'd been seeing each other for about 2 months, and the red flags were there all along. I just chose to ignore them. She always commented on what other people were wearing, the cars they drove, the neighborhoods they lived in. It wasn't just observation, it was judgment, a constant sizing up of everyone around her. My friends noticed it. My sister Carla flat out told me Jenna was a user, but I figured she was just being protective. The car, for the record, is a 3-year-old Lexus. It's not flashy, but it's clean, reliable, and fully paid off. It's mine. The idea that she would mistake it for a rental, or that it would matter either way, was the final straw. It wasn't about the car. It was about the cold, transactional way she saw the world, and me. A little backstory you need to know. Jenna lives in an apartment building my family owns. It's not some big corporate holding. It's a small 6-unit building my grandfather bought decades ago. We don't manage it ourselves anymore. We have a property manager, Mr. Henderson, a retired cop who knew my grandpa. He handles everything, and he's as no-nonsense as they come. When Jenna was looking for a place, I pulled some strings. I asked Mr. Henderson to give her the friends and family rate, which knocked about $400 off the monthly market price. It was a verbal agreement, an informal favor. It wasn't written into her standard 1-year lease. After deleting all her calls and texts, I found the email Mr. Tuff Henderson sent me when she first moved in, with a scanned copy of her signed lease attached. I spent about 10 minutes reading through the standard clauses. Then I called him. "Mr. Henderson," I said. "It's Mark. Got a minute?" "For you always," he grumbled. I could hear the TV on in the background, probably a morning news show. "What's the issue? Don't tell me that girlfriend of yours is complaining about the water pressure again." "Actually, it's about her," I said. "We're no longer seeing each other. I need you to do something for me. I need you to bring her rent up to the full market rate, effective at the earliest possible date according to her lease." There was a pause. "Everything all right, kid?" His tone softened a bit. He'd known me since I was a boy. "Everything's fine," I said. "Just cleaning up a loose end. The discount was a personal favor, and it's over." "Okay," he said, all business again. "Lease says we need to give 30 days at written notice for any rent adjustments. I'll type up the notice today. It'll cite Section 4B of the rental agreement, rent and other charges, which allows for adjustments to non-fixed concessions with proper notification. It's boilerplate, but it's ironclad. I'll date it today, September 9th, and post it on her door this afternoon. Her rent goes up starting November 1st. "Thank you, Mr. Henderson. I appreciate it." "Don't mention it," he said. I never liked her anyway. Always acted like she was doing me a favor by paying her rent, which, I might add, was late twice. I filed that little detail away. He hung up, and I felt the first real sense of relief. It was a small, clean action. A problem identified, a solution executed. The rest of the day was quiet. I went to work, came home and made dinner. Around 7 p.m. my phone buzzed. It was a text from Jenna. "You've got to be kidding me. A rent increase? Seriously?" I didn't reply. A minute later, another one. "This is because of last night, isn't it? You're doing this to punish me. This is insane." Another one a few seconds later. "My landlord said the building owners authorized it. That's you. You're a vindictive child." I kept watching my movie. My phone buzzed again with a call. I let it go to voicemail. The message she left was a minute of pure, unfiltered rage. Her voice was shrill, accusing me of being petty and cruel. She said she couldn't afford the extra $400 a month and that I was trying to make her homeless. It was all very dramatic. I listened to it, then deleted it. The silence in my apartment felt good. The next phase of this mess involved our mutual friends. A guy named Dave had introduced us. We were all part of a larger group that got together for trivia nights or weekend barbecues. My phone started buzzing again on Thursday, 2 days after the date. It was a text from Dave. "Hey man, what happened with Jenna? She's blowing up the group chat saying you went psycho on her." I sighed. I knew this was coming. I texted back, "I didn't go psycho. I ended a date with her. That's it. Ask her why." Dave replied, "She's saying you abandoned her in a bad neighborhood at night and have been harassing her landlord." The lies were so predictable. Harassing her landlord? Dave, Mr. Henderson is 70 years old and used to change my diapers. He's family, and I didn't abandon her. I left her on the curb of a 5-star restaurant in the safest part of the city after she insulted me. "What did she say?" he asked. I decided to be direct. I typed out the line word for word. "She asked me if my car was a rental, because if it was, she wasn't going to waste her time." Dave's reply took a few minutes. "Oh, wow, okay, that's bad." Jenna, meanwhile, was playing the victim in the group chat, a conversation I wasn't even in. According to a couple of screenshots another friend, Sarah, sent me, Jenna was telling everyone I had a temper, that I was unstable, and that I'd maliciously gotten her rent raised out of spite. She was painting a picture of a woman scorned by a lunatic. Sarah texted me, "Mark, you need to defend yourself. People are starting to believe her." I thought about it for a minute. Arguing in a group chat was pointless. It would just be my word against hers, and she was clearly better at playing the drama game. I needed something simple, something undeniable. I went back to my call log from Monday morning. I took a single clean screenshot. It showed the top of the call list. 21 calls, all from Jenna, between 12:08 a.m. and 7:45 a.m. It was a wall of desperation. I sent the screenshot to Sarah. "Can you add me to the chat for a minute?" She did. I waited for a moment when the conversation had a brief lull. Then I posted the screenshot. I didn't add any text, no explanation, no snarky comment, just the image. The chat went silent for a full 2 minutes. Then a message from a friend named Kevin. "Whoa, 21 missed calls?" Another from Dave. That's not the vibe of someone who was abandoned and scared. Jenna immediately started typing, a flurry of excuses. "He's twisting things. I was worried about him. I thought something had happened. He wasn't answering his phone." But the damage was done. Her story about being a terrified victim didn't line up with the evidence of her spending hours blowing up my phone. It looked exactly like what it was. The frantic actions of someone who realized they'd overplayed their hand and lost a meal ticket. I saw the 3 little dots indicating she was typing again, probably preparing another long paragraph of lies. Before she could hit send, I typed one sentence. "I'm not going to argue. You all can believe whatever you want." Then I had Sarah remove me from the group chat again. My phone was quiet for a bit, and then a few private messages trickled in. One from Dave, "Sorry man, I should have known better. She's always been about the money." One from Kevin, "You handled that perfectly. Let me know if you need anything." The social narrative she was trying to build had crumbled with a single piece of evidence. The weekend passed quietly. I went for a hike, saw a movie, and enjoyed the peace. I figured the worst was over. The rent was raised, the friend group knew the truth. I assumed she would just fade out of my life. I was wrong. The next front was going to be my family. There was one more loose end I hadn't tied up, a personal item. About a month into our relationship, we'd gone to a charity gala. I had let her borrow a watch. It wasn't just any watch, it was my grandmother's. It was a vintage piece, elegant and understated, and had huge sentimental value. I wasn't in the habit of loaning out family heirlooms, but she had been so convincing, talking about how she had the perfect dress, but no accessories that would do it justice. I'd stupidly relented. I had texted her about it once before the big blow-up, and she'd been evasive. "Oh, it's in my jewelry box. I'll get it to you next time I see you," she'd said. Now, next time was never going to happen. I sent her a polite, firm text on Monday. "Jenna, I need to get my grandmother's watch back. Please let me know when is a good time for me to stop by and pick it up this week." Her reply came an hour later. "I'm really busy with work, and honestly, I don't feel comfortable seeing you right now. You've been very hostile." I wasn't going to play this game. I'm not asking for a meeting. I'm retrieving my property. Just leave it with the doorman or I can swing by when you're home. It will take 5 minutes. I'm not sure where it is, she texted back. I think I might have misplaced it. That text sent a cold spike of anger through me. Misplaced it. A one-of-a-kind family heirloom. I knew she was lying. It was a power play, one last thing she held over me. I wasn't going to let her have it. This was where my sister came in. I called Carla and explained the situation. She was furious on my behalf. I told you, Mark. I told you she was trash, she said. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We are not asking anymore. We're going over there. She won't let me in, I said. She'll let us in, Carla said, her voice grim. She won't want the neighbors to see her refusing to let your sister in, especially when we're being perfectly polite. We're not going to be aggressive. We're going to be calm, reasonable, and completely immovable. Carla was always better at confrontations than I was. She had a spine of steel. Before we went, she did something I hadn't even thought of. She scrolled through Jenna's social media, and there it was. A photo from just last weekend, her out to brunch with some friends. On her wrist, clear as day, was my grandmother's watch. Carla saved the photo to her phone, noting the date it was posted. Then she went a step further. My mother had all the old family jewelry appraised for insurance purposes years ago. Carla called her, and within an hour, Mom had emailed over the scanned appraisal document for the watch. It included a detailed description, the serial number, and its replacement value, which was close to $5,000. It also clearly stated its origin as part of my grandmother's estate. Carla printed out the social media photo and a copy of the appraisal. Okay, she said, holding the papers. Now we have leverage. The next evening, we drove to Jenna's apartment building, my building. I buzzed her unit from the lobby. Who is it? Her voice crackled through the speaker. It's Mark, and my sister Carla, I said calmly. We're here for the watch, we're not leaving without it. There was a long silence. I told you I don't know where it is. Buzz us in, Jenna, Carla said, her voice sharp and clear. Or we can have this conversation in the lobby. I'm sure Mr. Henderson wouldn't mind listening in. The mention of Mr. Henderson did the trick. The lock buzzed and we went up. She opened the door just a crack, wearing sweatpants and a scowl. What do you want? The watch, Jenna, I said, keeping my voice level. Now. I can't find it, she repeated, her eyes darting between me and Carla. I'll look for it this weekend. Carla didn't say a word. She just held up her phone, displaying the photo of Jenna wearing the watch at brunch 3 days ago. Jenna's face went pale. That doesn't prove anything, she stammered. Carla then held up the printed insurance appraisal. She pointed to the line item describing the watch. This proves it's a family heirloom with a significant monetary value. We have a photo of you wearing it after you claimed you couldn't find it. This is now moving beyond a simple disagreement. This is theft. Jenna stared at the paper, then at Carla's unblinking face. The fight just drained out of her. She knew she was cornered. There were no friends here to lie to, no group chat to manipulate. Just 2 people, armed with facts, standing in her hallway. She closed the door without a word. We waited. A minute later, the door opened again. She thrust the watch into my hand, her expression a mask of fury and humiliation. Happy now? She hissed. Yes, I said. I checked the clasp, made sure it was undamaged, and slipped it into my pocket. Thank you. We turned and walked away. We didn't say another word. As we walked down the hall toward the elevator, I could feel her watching us. I didn't look back. The weight of the watch in my pocket was a huge relief. That was the last personal connection, the last piece of leverage she had. And now, it was gone. The final chapter of this whole stupid saga happened about a month later. Her lease was up at the end of October, and Mr. Henderson had already informed me that she had not renewed. He told me she'd tried to argue with him about the rent increase, even threatened to sue, but he just calmly pointed to the signed lease agreement and told her he was acting on the owner's instructions and following the contract she'd signed. There was nothing she could do. He'd already found a new tenant, a young couple, who were happy to pay the full market rate. I hadn't heard from her or seen her since the night we retrieved the watch. The friend group had fractured a bit. A couple of people sided with her, but most just went quiet, not wanting to be involved. Dave and a few others made a point to reach out to me, and we started hanging out separately, which was fine by me. One Saturday afternoon, I was at a local coffee shop, catching up on some reading. I was sitting at a small table by the window. As I looked up, I saw a familiar car pull into a parking spot out front. It was a brand new Mercedes, the kind Jenna always used to point out. She was in the passenger seat. A man who looked to be in his late 50s got out of the driver's side. He was well dressed but looked annoyed. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but their body language told the whole story. He was gesturing impatiently at her. She was arguing, her face tight with frustration. He said something that made her flinch, then he pointed a finger at her, shook his head, and walked into the bank next to the coffee shop, leaving her in the car. Jenna just sat there, staring straight ahead, her perfect posture rigid with anger. For a moment I felt a flicker of something, but it wasn't pity. It was just a distant, clinical observation. She'd found a new target, a wealthier one, but the dynamic was the same. Her happiness was entirely dependent on someone else's wallet, and it was a precarious, stressful way to live. She looked trapped. I finished my coffee, paid my bill, and walked out to the parking lot. I had to walk right past the Mercedes to get to my car. She was looking down at her phone now, probably scrolling, and didn't see me. I got into my Lexus, the same car that started this whole thing. It felt comfortable, familiar. It was mine. I started the engine, pulled out of the parking spot, and drove away. I didn't look in the rearview mirror. There was nothing back there I needed to see.